Arsenal get a boost in their Perisic pursuit. There's bad news for PSG in the Champions League. Pochettino sets his priorities straight. We've got a transfer window roundup. And of course, we look back on your Friday feels. That and more coming up in the next few minutes as I am your host, Matt Folick. You are the Onefootballers and this is the Daily News. First up, and to some transfer news coming out of the Emirates, where Arsenal actually look closer to signing winger Ivan Perisic, although it will only be on loan for the rest of the season. Apparently, the Croat is desperate to leave Inter Milan despite signing a new 5-year deal at the beginning of last season. This is where Arsenal have stepped up their interest, and even though they may have to pay 35 million to make it permanent in the summer, they could do a really good job by getting him in now. The winger had a fantastic World Cup as his nation made the final, obviously losing to France, but he was linked with a big money move to Manchester United. However, that didn't happen, and it looks like Unai Emery and Arsenal are ready to swoop in. But will he actually be a good signing for Arsenal? My question is, if he was that good and if he was wanted that much after the World Cup, why didn't he eventually move? Did he want too much money for what he's worth, or were Manchester United not willing to shell out for someone who's going to be 30 at the end of the year? Well, this is obviously where Arsenal fans, I want to hear from you guys. Will he play? Will he start? And will he be a good signing? Let me know in the comment section down below. But secondly, we're moving on to some bad news for PSG. On the other hand, it's some pretty good news from Manchester United. The PSG manager Thomas Tuchel has admitted that Neymar will be out for the first leg of the Champions League tie and potentially even the second. This is because he hurt his ankle in last Wednesday's Cup game, missed the game at the weekend, and scans don't look too good for the Brazilian. This means that Manchester United may actually have a chance. I say may actually have a chance, however, they're in fantastic form at the moment, so they've got a chance anyway, with or without Neymar. Of course, without them having one of the best players in the world, United have got that little bit more of a chance in beating PSG and advancing to the quarter-finals of the competition. On Friday night, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made it 8 wins in 8 as his side cruised past Arsenal at the Emirates in the FA Cup, and things looking pretty rosy for the Norwegian to take the job on full time. Lastly on PSG though, they did still win 4-1 at the weekend without Neymar, with Kylian Mbappe getting on the score sheet and getting an assist, meaning that he's now contributed either an assist or a goal 30 times this season in just 21 French Ligue 1 games. And now back to English football and specifically to the FA Cup, where Mauricio Pochettino was faced with many camera crews asking him just what happened in the 2-0 defeat to Crystal Palace. His answer was that winning trophies are only going to build egos at Spurs and they need to be playing in the top 4 in the Champions League every single season. Spurs fans and other football fans, do you agree with this? What is happening at Tottenham? Now, obviously, it's clear to see that without your best players, you're not going to be as good. The fact that Kane, Ali and Son are all out of the squad at the moment means that Spurs just aren't firing as well as they used to. This goes without saying. Take out Messi and Suarez of Barca, they're not as good. Take out Salah, Firmino and Mane, they're obviously not as good, and so on and so forth. However, for Spurs, is top 4 really the aim, or should they be winning a trophy? Now, in my opinion, it needs to be the top 4. Don't get me wrong, as a Spurs fan, even as a football fan, all of you who support any club, you love to see your team win a trophy. In England, the magic of the FA Cup is amazing, and you'd love to see your team at Wembley, lifting it above their heads and celebrating come May. However, that is only going to go so far, and people forget that as soon as the following season starts. From a Tottenham fan's perspective, I'm thinking about how they want to hold on to the likes of Pochettino, Kane, Ali, and all of their biggest players. In one way, saying to them, hey guys, stay with us, we won a cup. That's not really going to hold any weight. As soon as a bigger club comes in and offers Champions League football, they're gone. Whereas, much like those bigger teams, if Spurs can sit down and say, stick with us, we've got the money and the interest coming in from playing Champions League football every year, I think they're far more likely to stay. Of course, let me know in the comment section below what you think Spurs should be aiming for and what you think your team should be aiming for, regardless of who you support. But next up, we'll move on to a quick roundup of the day's transfer news. First off, Leicester are in talks with Monaco over signing 21-year-old Yuri Tielemans, who in fact has been club captain in the last few games. Elsewhere, West Ham's Reece Oxford could talk to Eintracht Frankfurt ahead of an £8 million move. Liverpool are close to signing Sandro Tonali in the summer. He has been dubbed the next Pirlo and he currently plays for Brescia in Serie B in Italy. And lastly but not least, over the weekend, Cedric Suarez, the Southampton right back, joined Inter Milan on loan. And lastly but not least, we look back on your Friday feels. That's where you guys left your predictions down below on Friday's Daily and let me know what would happen over the weekend. Now, first off, because I know many of you were calling for it as I've just looked through the comments, yes, I was completely wrong. I did suggest that Arsenal would beat Manchester United, which they didn't, and I also thought that Lazio were going to end Juventus' dominance in Serie A. That didn't happen either. I hold my hands up, I got it wrong, but I guess that's the fun of making a prediction. It's not always going to come true, and no one has any idea what's happening, except for these next few people. First up, we have Adyan Rawat, who correctly predicted that Barcelona and Manchester City would win by 2 goals or more, and that Juventus and Manchester United would also take victories. Next up is Eden Hazardus, so it's a great name by the way, who also predicted that not only would Juventus win 2-1, but that Ronaldo would score a last-minute winner. For those of you who are going to say that it was an 88th or 89th minute winner and not a last-minute winner, come on, have a word with yourselves. Someone else who got a perfect score right was Sean Martinez, who guessed that Manchester City would win 5-0 with both Gabriel Jesus and Aguero getting on the score sheet, which they did. And lastly but not least, Elliot Morton predicted that Crystal Palace would take advantage of a depleted Spurs lineup and win 2-0, which they did. It could have been 2-1 had Trippier not missed the penalty, but that's a whole nother rant for a completely another time. So that's all there is from me for today. Make sure you smash the like button down below and let me know in the comment section everything you thought about today's daily news. Will Perisic be a good signing, and all the other transfer rumours that you've heard? What about Sandro Tonali? Is he really going to be the new Pirlo? Of course, you can also click here to check out all of the other videos that we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.